basically borrowing the stocks and then returning them on a later day when the price has moved down, and that's how it works. Yeah.
What happens if they've gone up?
So that's the risk of it, right? So look, say that this contract right here, so say that same contract you bought was $378, right? And the price of SPY goes up to $377. Now your 308 contract looks more like $250. So now you've lost $58. So that's the risk of it, because it's not always going to go down. It's not always going to go up, right? And that's when it comes to technical analysis, to help you make the best decision to see, okay, I think it'll go up or I think it'll go down, right? So you have to, that's when it comes to technical analysis, and you really have to be a good decision maker and not trade with your emotions. Because, you know, if you just go off, oh, I feel like it's going to go up or I feel like it's going to go down, you're very most likely going to be wrong. And I can guarantee you'll be wrong, right?
Okay, yeah, I follow that.
All right, any more questions before we move on? All right. You guys can also, yeah, go ahead.
In this video, you're not gonna show us how like we act on our emotions, or like the analytical way, right?
So yeah, I mean, this is just the basics right now. I am gonna talk a little bit on emotions in a second, but yeah, technical analysis will come in another day in another video, and I'll definitely go very in depth for you guys. And then I'll also send some other traders who talk about it, so you guys can have multiple perspectives of how it works.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So paper trading, this is trading. This is a simulated trade that allows an investor to practice buying and selling without risking real money, right? It's basically a video game, but you have to make it seem like it's real life, or you're not going to be able to learn correctly. So paper trading is basically a stock market simulator. With paper trading, you get the experience, everything you would risk with risking capital, except the psychological aspects. Because you aren't trading with your own money, you have no emotional tie to it. Therefore, you don't learn how to deal with the emotional stress of trading with real capital, which I can tell you guys, it is very stressful if you guys do not know what you're doing, especially once you start getting on a losing streak. So what are the psychological aspects of trading? Well, trading psychology refers to the emotion and mental states that help dictate a success or failure in trading securities. Trading psychology represents various aspects of an individual's character and behaviors that influence their trading actions. Like I said, if you trade off your emotions, you're just saying, oh, I think it's going up, or I think it's going down, or I have to sell this right now, or I have to sell it. I can't sell this yet because I haven't made enough money. When day trading, there is a very thin line between not caring if you lose money and caring if you lose money, and you must be on that thin line. And I tell you guys, it is very, very thin. This is one thing that paper trading doesn't teach, because it's not real money. It doesn't give you this disconsolate feeling when you lose. My suggestion is to hold cash next to you while you trade, say $100 to $1,000, depending on how much you're trading with, right? And each time you win a trade, you add some cash to your stack. And every time you lose a trade, you take some cash out of the stack. If you really want to make it realistic, you'll give that cash to your parents or to a friend and let them have it, right? But obviously you don't want to do that, so I would just put it like in a little piggy bank and then save it for when you're ready to actually put money into the stock market. So this will give you the feeling of losing and gaining money, a little bit of the emotional aspect. So this is that same slide continued. And so the main thing that guides our emotional state is our greed, right? How greedy are you when it comes to making money? So what is greed though? Greed is the intense and selfish desire for something, especially wealth, power, or food, things of materialistic life, or needing to survive, stuff like that. When trading, since it's an extremely lucrative profession, greed can and will consume you. You must be able to control greed. Once you can control greed, your greed will be able to enter and exit a trade without wishing you would have entered and exited at a different time. What this is called is hindsight trading. Once you have completely closed out of a trade, and then you're looking back at that trade and saying, oh my gosh, SPY went up $2 more and I could have made an extra $300. That's hindsight trading. You're looking back. And even if your technical analysis told you, okay, this is the time to sell, and you sold and it continued higher, your technical analysis told you and you stuck to it, which is good because you're sticking to your strategy. If you ever break your strategy or don't follow or listen to your technical analysis, you will make money some days, but you are going to lose money most of the days. I can guarantee that. So this can also lead to overtrading, which overtrading is never good. I typically take one trade per day, never more, never less. Actually, sometimes less. If I don't have a proper setup, I will not take a trade. But most days I do find my proper setup. So if you stay in a trade longer than you will be, the number one rule of trading that I have is do not let a green trade turn into a red trade. Do not let the price of your option go higher, and then because of your greed you hold it, see how much higher it can go, and then it goes lower and you end up losing money. This is called FOMO, fear of missing out, right? You have the fear of missing out on those little gains. So that is all for today that I have actually on slides. But do you guys have any questions about this?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment real quick to the other people here listening. I got into crypto trading back in 2020 when the government was just handing out money, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the token. It's called Shiba Inu.
Yeah, I know about it.
I had invested just over $9,000 into it, and last October, when it spiked all the way up, and this was me trying not to be greedy, and I wish I sold, but I didn't. So I had turned that $9,000 into almost $90,000, but I didn't sell a single cent of it because I thought it was going to keep on going up. So I just want to make a comment because I hear a lot about, people saying, oh, you don't want to miss out on an opportunity. Although I was invested into the project, I never took my profit out of it, So I think that whole psychological, is really real, and you just have to be aware of what you want and, how far you're willing to go and what you might actually miss out on as well, because now I'm shooting myself in the foot because I didn't sell anything back, so I just want to make that comment, that's all.
Yeah, a typical strategy for most traders too, say you did make, that's a 1,000% return right there from 9,000 to 90,000, right? So
yeah.
Even if you would have just taken out your $9,000 that you put in initially, you would have had no money, none of your own money in the trade, and then it would have been profit from there. And you say it did go higher, you could have made a lot more, and say it went lower, you would be fine because your $9,000 is safe, right? So that is a good strategy to do whenever you are trading options or crypto or really anything for that matter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I didn't hear that. I didn't hear any of that until it was already too late because I was so new and just so, I guess, not knowledgeable to what trading really was. And the whole reason why I even got invested into the project was because my homie from high school was like, hey man, you got to jump in on this right now, it's going to go up, all types of crazy. And I was emotionally invested in the beginning, and then when it was just riding out and then it spiked up, I was like, man, this could turn into over $100,000. But I never took out my initial investment, and that's what I should have done. You're absolutely right.
Yep. So yeah, do you guys have any other questions or anything?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment about paper trading. So I was thinking while you were talking about paper trading, would it make more sense instead of paper trading? Would it make more sense to just go into the real trading options, but at a low cost, not put too much money in it and starting from kind of the bottom, just to see starting with some money that you're not really hurting to lose,
Yeah, I definitely get that, man, and that's what I did. I always thought paper trading was stupid. I literally would turn $1 million into $10 million, and then I was like, this is so dumb. It's literally a game, right? So I said, hey, I'm just gonna throw my $100. I said for my first ever investment into trading options was $100, and I ended up doing that 10 times and losing it every single time. And I said, you know what? It's not me. It's just that I don't have enough money, right? Because when I was trading with millions, it was much easier. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put $500 in. I ended up putting another $500 in and another $500 in and lost it all, right? So now I'm in $2,500 deep, right? So then I put another $100 in, lost it, another $100 and lost it. I did that 3 more times, and I'm down $3,000, right? So yeah, and if I keep doing that, yeah, of course, one day I'm gonna learn enough and I will be profitable. How much in the hole are you willing to go, man? Like a family friend of mine, he got into options a few years before me, and just at a wedding we went to a few weeks ago, he told me, JP, all those times we talked about trading options, I was down $20,000 that whole time. $20,000 of his own money, right? His own hard-earned money. He was down $20,000, and just recently he broke even. So right, so now he is a profitable trader. He can make money whenever he wants in the stock market, right? But are you willing to go $20,000 into debt, right? Are you willing to take that emotional drain, because that will give it an extreme emotional drain, right? Are you gonna quit once you lose, that amount of money? Because most traders, that's what happens. They lose that money and they say, you know what, I'm too far in the hole, I'm done. Imagine if my family friend would have said, I'm $20,000 in the hole, I'm done. He would have never made that money back, which now he has made it back because he actually took the time to learn what he's doing, and he actually knows how to trade now. So if you are willing to take, your bank account into the hole, even if you have $100,000 on your belt, right? Even if you are a millionaire, how much are you willing to lose, man? So that's the question you have to ask yourself, because you can do that, or you can save that money, try to at least learn the technical analysis part of it, and then from there you'll be able to trade. Does that kind of answer your question or no?
Yeah, that was a great point. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Because, that's the main thing, A lot of extremely good traders that aren't public, right? They work for major hedge funds, major investment banks. They tell you any trader can be successful. It's just how long are you willing to lose? Because the only way to really learn the stock market, I can't teach you. TJR trades can't teach you. 1K can't teach you. It has to be you that takes the initiative to learn and get in the market and actually learn from your mistakes. I could only help you so much, but you have to take the initiative to go out there, lose your money, and that's really what's going to teach you your lessons.
And that's if you probably decide to just go right into it instead of taking some time to practice.
Even with paper trading, I'm still saying that. Even if you lose your money in paper trading, even though you can just reset the amount, no problem, you're still getting that aspect. Okay, this didn't work, or this did work. I made some money on this. How did I make money on that? Or I lost some money on this. How did I lose money on that? Right? And that's hindsight trading, but more so back testing. Hindsight trading is when you look back and see what it could have been, right? Not looking back when you see why it was, right? So why did I sell right there? Was it because I was emotionally happy with my profit, or was it because the chart said it's time to sell? Did I lose all this money because I didn't set a stop loss in the right place? Let me look back at my charts and see why the price fell under this, right? Or stuff like that. That's really what you have to be looking for when it comes to hindsight trading or paper trading, right? You want to look, okay, why did this work today? Why did I make 1,000% today? Or why did I lose 1,000% today, right? So that's what you really ought to be looking at.
Okay, cool.
When it comes to paper
I don't
trading.
know how much time you got, but could you real quick just tell us why and how you got yourself into trading and kind of what your goals are for the future?
Yeah. So I actually really like this question. I talk about it a lot with my friends, and our goals are always changing, but we have a few that stay the same, right? So I started trading probably 2018 or 2019, I was still in high school, and it looked really cool to me. That was before TikTok was out and stuff, so no one really was talking about it online. But I did know a lot of my friends or my friends' parents that traded, right? So I told my dad, Dad, do you invest in the stock market? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, can I start? Even though I'm not 18 yet. He said, yeah, I can make you an account under my social security number, or we can get you a custodial account. And I said, okay, well, let's make me an account then. And so I said, okay. And I started trading. He would give me money every month, about $100, to put into certain stocks. He said, okay, these are the stocks I invest in. These are the stocks I believe in. Do your research and see if you like these stocks. If not, look for companies that you like. I said, all right. And my main goal at that point wasn't for the long term, right? To invest in the long term. I was trying to make money. while I was in high school. So I started trading with, $100 a month, and within a month I would turn my $100 into like 120 or 130, just buying and selling stocks in the daily. That's before I even knew what options were. So I would buy and sell stocks, and I didn't know anything about the stocks, right? I would just buy and sell them based on my emotions. I didn't know how to chart. I didn't know anything about technical analysis. And so buying and selling stocks, right, just to make money, just for the pure joy of making money.
Right.
Eventually, I ended up, so at the very end of it, I was probably down around 400% on the account. At the very end, when I said, I'm done with this, I'm losing too much money, I was down 400%. Even though on the daily, most of the days I'd be green, my losses didn't outweigh my green days, right? Because I would see a little bit of green, and because I'm so used to losing, I would see a little bit of green, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's green, pull out, right? And so my losses were a lot bigger than my green trades, because my green trades, I was so willing to take profit so fast that when the red trades came, I was waiting for them to turn green to sell them, but they never went green, so then I would have to just sell them at red. So then I stopped trading for about a year. So say 2020, COVID hit, right? Around that time, I was like, I'm really bored at home. I'm gonna start doing this again, right? So I would wake up at 6:30 every morning before we had online school, and I would trade a little bit. And lo and behold, like I told you guys, $100 lost 10 times, and then $500 lost 4 times, and then $100 lost a few more times, right? So then I was like, man, this sucks. I'm done with this. And then then some of my friends started telling me, hey, didn't you used to trade options? I want to learn. Okay, I guess I could teach you guys a little bit. It's very speculative, but that was before I knew anything about technical analysis. Once I started learning how to chart and what technical analysis was, that's when I started learning that this is a real job and this is a real profession. But if you want it to be a real job and a real profession, you have to put real job and real profession work into it. So people say they don't want to work a 9-to-5 job, right? This is a 9-to-5 job. You have to put in your work. Even if it's not from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you have to put in your hours in learning and trading, right? So the stock market's open for 8 hours every day, but you only trade realistically for 2 or 3 hours. So the rest of your time, you should spend about an hour charting before the market opens to see, what are my plans, right? Looking at the market, seeing. You should spend another hour preparing your mind, your emotional state. Okay, if I lose 10% today, I'm selling, and if it goes green, great. If it doesn't, I lost my 10%, and that's it. If I gain 20% today, I'm selling. If it never gets to 20%, I'm not selling, because that is my take profit. I'd rather lose the 10% than not make my 20%, okay? And that is your risk to reward, 2-to-1. For every 1 you lose, you can make 2 on that. So I never knew anything about any of that. Now that I know all of this, and I see traders that don't know any of this, I feel like it's my job to spread the word to people who were like me back in 2018, 2019, 2020, and even 2021. So it is my job to spread, okay, this isn't speculative, this is a real job and real profession, but it's also my job to show these people that want a side hustle as a career and make $10,000 a month or $10,000 plus. You need to put in real work, right? If you want to be a real estate agent and you want to have financial freedom and you want to make your own schedule, great. Guess what? That's going to end up leading to you having a 9-to-5 job and for you having financial freedom, but you're going to sacrifice a lot more of your time than you would at a 9-to-5 job. People think, okay, I'm going to start a business so I never have to work. That only happens for the top 1%, and that's why they're called the top 1%. 99% of the other people who have a business have to put in 9-to-5 type of work. And people don't understand that. So when it comes to that, I ask people, are you lazy or are you an entrepreneur? Do you not want to work, or are you an entrepreneur? If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to go out there and get the bag and you're going to work. If you're lazy, you're going to go out there and try a bunch of different businesses that fail over and over and over, right? And that's my job to teach people, because no one understands that these days, right? And so my main goal is, 1, to teach people about financial literacy, right? And teach them how to make money on top of working at their job. If I have to work a 9-to-5 job for the rest of my life, I would be happy with that, because I know that 9-to-5 job is only going to last 10 years because I know how to manage my money. For anyone who knows how to manage their money, that 9-to-5 job they have will only last 10 years. But $30,000, if you work your way, say you have $30,000 cash, You can take yourself from $30,000 to millions within the span of 30 years, all right? And that's on the side of your 9-to-5 job. If you that 9-to-5 job, you live off of that, and your $30,000 will fuel your investments, whether it's private equity, venture funds, stocks, crypto, real estate, businesses, whether it's any of that. That $30,000, if you know how to manage it, it can turn into millions. And I know this for a fact because I know people who have done it, and I know that I can do it myself. So those are my two main goals for other people. My main goal for myself is to always stay humble no matter how much money I make. Always give back no matter how much money I make. If I see a homeless guy on the side of the street who's hungry, I'm going to walk him into the nearest restaurant and say, order what you want, it's paid for. If I see someone struggling, a family member, a friend, struggling with their bills, I'm going to help them out, but not only am I going to help them out, I'm going to teach them, say, how did you get here? All right, that's not what we're going to do next time, right? We're going to learn from this mistake, and we're going to do better. You know, credit card debt is the number one thing that people, the number one problem for people these days, and it's also the number one thing that's taught not to do, right? So how does that happen? If everyone's taught not to have credit card debt, but now everyone has credit card debt, it's because they make one mistake and it's over and they have no one to help them. They have no one to teach them, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna budget 50% of your income. You're gonna live below your means for the next 2 years, and you're gonna pay this off, and then from there, you're gonna be able to afford the things you wanna afford without having to use a credit card, and you're not gonna be in so much debt, and you're not gonna live as a slave to this card, right? Or to this debt. So these are my main goals right here, and my last goal is to retire my family and set the rest of my family up for generational wealth, whether it's my kids' kids, or their kids, or their kids, or their kids. I want to be the great grandfather that set them up for life, right? And then also, I want to be able to live a happy life, I don't want to spend my life having to work a job that I hate, right? And even if it is a 9-to-5 job, as long as I love it, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to live in a place I want to live. And it's going to be life, right? And I'm still going to teach things that I want to teach. Maybe I won't be able to help people out financially, but I'll still be able to teach them, financial literacy, right? So those are my main goals right there. And trading, my main goal of trading is to make a little bit of money, but more so to teach people how to trade, because I don't really care about the money. It's more fulfilling to teach people. But yeah, hopefully that wasn't too long, and I hope I didn't lose anyone on that. But
no, that was great, man. I really appreciate that, and I'm sure the other people here did as well. And I kind of have the same goal as you with retiring your parent. My mom has been a nurse for the past 30 years, and I told her, hey, like, I'm trying to get you retired, and because like she wants to travel the world and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So,
of course.
I just really want to start doing something now, you know what I mean? Like, I've been invested in crypto, but that doesn't really seem, that's like a hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that it's as predictable. Not to say that like the stock market is predictable, but with technical analysis and you doing your charts, you can kind of see like where things are going to go, and that's why I really want to get into stock trading. Also, my grandfather of 91 retired from Exxon and Mobil back in 1996, and he's been involved in the stock market ever since he retired, and he has built an account to where he makes, or no, he lives off of a $300,000 annual return that he's had for the past 25 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's incredible, like, I just want to be able to build myself. Like, I don't want millions and millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? I want something realistic, even though it could happen. I just want something realistic to where I don't have to work so goddamn much, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like, I work 10-hour days, man, 6 days a week. Like, I'm tired, bro.
Yeah, man.
So I'm just I just want to like start to like read. I want to learn more, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta start making moves.
Of course, yeah, man. I'm just assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming what your grandfather has is a dividend account, or it's not a type of account, but the stocks you buy is your dividend stocks. And honestly, that's a great investment for the long term, man. I don't want to buy dividend stocks right now because I know that I can have a greater return on my money doing something else. But definitely once I want to retire, that's going to be one of the things I do, whether it's real, I'm going to have like 70% in real estate, because that's where most of my knowledge is, and about 30% in high yield dividend stocks, right? But yeah, I mean, and what you said about crypto, how it's not as predictable, that's just the volatility of it, man. There's so many people trading it daily and on every hour of the day. It is really hard to predict, but it is still somewhat predictable, yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate what you just did here. Real quick, do you recommend maybe any like books or anything that we could read or something? Or
I'm gonna be honest, man, I don't read books. I've never been a reader. I've always been a very hands-on learner. Even in school, I never read the textbook. I never did my homework, anything like that. But 2 books that I have read that did change my perspective very much. I did kind of already understand a lot of the concepts, because I do, take a lot of initiative to learn myself on YouTube. But Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David was my first book I ever read. That changed my whole perspective when it came to thinking, okay, it's, delayed gratification or instant gratification. On TikTok, on Instagram, or on social medias, we have instant gratification, right? We post something, it gets instant likes, or even working at a job, you have almost instant gratification, right? It's a little bit more delayed, but you work 2 weeks and you get that paycheck and you're like, oh, awesome, right? It only took me 2 weeks to get here. Or you're playing a video game, say you're playing Fortnite, and you get a win within 20 minutes. It's instant gratification pretty much. You work hard, but it's almost instant. And so instead of looking at these short-term wins, you have to look at the long-term wins right now, right? So it's not about the battle, it's about the war, is what people say. And so 10 years from now, where do you want to be? You want to be retiring your family, you want to be having a high payout stock account, right? So in order to do that, you have to win these little battles along the way. You say you're going to put $1,000 every month, or say only $500 every month, which is still a lot. As long as you're contributing towards the war, you're going to end up winning in the long run, and the farther out that you think, the more impact you can make. In 2 years, someone can go from $0 to $1 million. So imagine what that same person can do in 10, 20 years, right? So instead of thinking about now, I want to do this now, I want to do this now, spread it out over a long period of time, and you can make a lot more happen. It won't be as fast, it'll be much more delayed, but the gratification will be much greater than instant gratification, the quick fix of dopamine, right? But yeah, and then the second book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad by I forget his name every single time. Robert Kiyosaki or something like that. Or
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So that book talks about his rich dad and poor dad, which I am in the same situation as him, right? So my mom doesn't know anything about investing. She doesn't know anything about any of that. She thinks all that's a scam. She thinks you'll lose all your money. And my dad, on the other side, thinks you should invest 100% of your money. You should have no fun, And so I'm kind of the balance in between, right? So I'm very balanced with whether it's hanging out with my friends or working. Whatever I do, I always keep balance, For every hour or hour and a half of work, I'm going to have a little bit of fun, right? I'm going to go to the beach, or I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I'm going to go play some video games. Granted, I don't own my own Xbox. Yeah, of course, because how am I supposed to live a happy life if all I ever do is work? That's, for some people, they love to work, so they'll be happy. But for me, I don't love to work, right? I love to work at times, but I don't love to work 100% of the day. So you definitely have to have a balanced lifestyle. My dad works literally 16-hour days every single day. My mom works about 4-hour days every single day. And there is a big financial separation between them. I will say it's very large. And, there's definitely ways to make more money than, you can make working 16-hour days, right? If my dad were to take his money and, invest it into something else other than working, or he can even work and do that, he can make way more money. My mom, on the other hand, thinks she just wants to work a little bit, and then still spend time with her family. She's more of an emotional person. She likes to spend time with her family, be happy, do things that make her happy, go on hikes, go to the beach, And so definitely, you got to have the balance, though, because some people will play more than they work, and some people work more than they play, And you can definitely see which is someone is, right? So yeah, that's just kind of where the book Rich Dad Poor Dad takes you, He says, my rich dad always told me to invest my money and learn to make money work for me and money not make, like he said, make money work for you, not you work for money, right? And then the poor dad says, you need to go to college, you need to get a good degree so you can get a good job and retire at 65, invest in the stock market slowly over that time so you can retire at 65.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 books that I read that I really recommend. And honestly, I listen to a lot of YouTubers. Alex Hormozy is one of my favorite. Iman Ganzi. There's a lot of other videos, like YouTubers out there that I listen to that I can't name off the top of my head. But those two right there are very, very impactful when it comes to self-help, entrepreneurism, and just all around being a good person, right? Being happy, balanced, and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, real quick, could you make a comment on, because I'm sure that all of us here run across it as well, but you're scrolling on like TikTok or like Instagram or something, and like you see something just like pop up of like like a young kid, well, not kid, but what I'm saying, like 20s, driving in like a Lambo or some shit, and he says, hey, I got all this from, options or something, what I'm saying? Can you make a comment on like what that does to your like mental health and like just like your expectations?
I mean, a boxer is only recognized at his match, right? But a boxer puts in daily work, hours on end in the gym training before he has his match, correct? And with those guys, you have to understand that just because this is the boxing match that you're watching right now, you don't know all the work they put in. And honestly, I do believe a lot of the guys, because one of my friends, his name's Alex, he goes to school in Arizona. He didn't grow up with me, but we met each other, halfway through our lives. And he bought a very nice car trading stocks. Granted, he was given, a lot of money to trade because his family is better off, but he still made most of his money trading the stocks, trading options. And he is also what kind of got me back into it. But I mean, it's believable, but you also have to understand they put in a lot of work, man. And for the people who, flex it and don't actually put in that work, those guys are out there. You really can't tell the difference until, you buy their course and the damage is already done. But I mean, you just have to understand, this can happen if I put in the work, right? So these people are living a top 1% life. So if I'm going to work to be in their life, I'm going to have to work like the top 1%, right? How many hours a week does Elon Musk work? 90 to 80 to 100 hours a week, right? Jeff Bezos, how many hours does he work? I don't know off the top of my head, but I mean, look it up, if, what's another guy? Bill Gates, how many hours does he work a week, right? These are guys that are ultra billionaires, mega wealthies, right? Top 1%. And so how much time do they work, right? Are you willing to put in that work? You know what it takes to get there. You have to do your work. You have to be productive with the things you do, People love to go on Instagram and post, oh, business meeting, right? Oh, cold calling. Oh, this, that, right? Oh, showings, all this stuff. But just because you're doing the things to get there, are you really doing the things to get there? Are you just posting a few posts a day or a few posts a week, right? You're the only one that knows if you're giving it your all, right? Especially, whether it's in the gym, whether it's in a work, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's a friendship, you are the only person who knows if you're giving it your all, right? So that's when it comes to self-discipline, You look at other people and say, oh, why am I not there? Instead of asking yourself, why am I not where they're at? Say, have I put in the work that they've put in? Did I put in the time that they've put in? Am I as dedicated as them? Ask yourself those questions, and that's going to lead to you, getting to where they're at if you're willing to put in the work they put in and the time they put in.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly believe that it is possible, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's why most of us are here, so all right, well, hey man, I appreciate the time, and I look forward to what else you have in the future.
Yeah, man, thank you. I appreciate you guys coming out.
Absolutely. And you said that you have a YouTube as well?
I'm going to make a YouTube channel and post this on the YouTube channel. But
Okay, bet.
as of right now, you know, I don't have anything on there. I mean, I have a few videos from like, you know, me, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I feel you.
But,
All right. Sounds good, brother.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I just want to make a positive comment.
Okay.
I think this is like a really good platform for bringing people like-minded people because I'm here in like my city and there's not many people I can go up to with like having the same mindset like physically. So I feel like having this platform brings more people in, and it's like if you surround yourself with these type of people, you're more likely to succeed in what
Yeah,
you guys
man.
want to do.
Definitely,
So,
man.
I'm looking forward to growing this and like staying in connection with you guys, and it's a cool process. And like I'm still trying. I just started paper trading like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I think it's just really cool.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, and I hope you guys learn a ton from, you know, this Discord as a community. Not only from me, you know, because obviously I can teach you a bunch, but there are other guys in this Discord, and hopefully other guys that will join this Discord that can teach you, you know, even more than I can teach you, right? So, but yeah, man, I definitely agree with you. You know, when you are thinking like the top 1%, there's only gonna be 1% of people thinking like you and talking like you. So when you go around to your school and to your college and to your family, it's gonna be very rare for you to find, you know, 1% of a person, right? So yeah, I agree, man. And honestly, man, if it helps if you move out to a city where it's, you know, very wealthy people, because, you know, where I live, it is very, very, very moderate people, very medium people, very average people, right? And, you know, I'm planning on moving to a very wealthy city where, you know, I've already met 10 people who have like-minded goals, and I already have 3 mentors who are the owners of big real estate companies or private equity companies, right? So it definitely helps to get your foot in the door in a city like that and start learning from the people who can actually teach you, and, you know, really being in person with those people. Because online friends, having an online person to talk to is one thing, but when you're actually in person with someone, having a conversation, seeing their moves and them taking you under their wing, it's a completely new world and a completely different story.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know if you'll ever talk about it in here, because this is probably just for like trades and stuff, but I'm also interested in real estate as well. Like, one person that I really look up to is Grant
Cardone, yeah.
Yeah, man, I love what he has done, man. I mean, he started at the age of like 25, 26, and he's built himself up to like a $3.5 billion real estate empire.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
man.
Like, crazy, bro.
It is crazy, man. Real estate has made the most millionaires out of any industry, right? I mean, tech is creeping up on it, but it's definitely a very, very lucrative business, but also very competitive. You also have to remember, you know, it's not going to be easy when it comes to this kind of stuff, all right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If
All
it was
right.
easy, we'd all be doing it.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Thanks.
But all right, does anyone else have any other questions?
I think that I'm good, brother.
Everyone's all good. And to respond to your concern, I am going to be talking about other, avenues. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And other avenues of making money in the Discord. Hopefully, real estate will be one of them. I'm hoping to have like drop shipping, e-commerce, you know, stuff like that. All around, it's going to be a money-making Discord. How to make money.
For sure.
What can actually make money, what is not real, you know, how to conquer a certain avenue of making money.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping just to learn from other people too, though, because I don't know much about certain things, and I want to learn about those things, and I definitely have stuff to offer. You know, I want to teach a lot of the people in the Discord sales. I'm really good at sales. That's why I watch Alex Hermosi a lot. He's amazing at sales. And, you know, if you guys can learn how to sell, you can go be a car salesman. You can go be a real estate agent. You can do so much.
It's actually funny you mentioned that, because I'm a car salesman for Honda right now.
Nice, dude, yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? So right now the car biz is a little weak, but...
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, everything's a little weak right now. The economy's weak, so, you know, you have to also think it's not you, it's definitely underlying circumstances that's, you know, causing everything to kind of fail. Whether it's a
For sure.
restaurant, whether it's cars, whether it's houses, whether it's, you know, really anything.
Yeah.
But man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, but about sales, you know, it's, you can go do anything really, and the commission on sales is uncapped. You know, you can make upwards of $1 million plus a year. You can make $0 a year. It's really up to you. And another thing I want to talk about in the Discord is psychology and how important it is to making, you know, to having good relationships, good partnerships, to be good at sales, to know how to interview, to know how to be interviewed, all these different things, right? So yeah, I definitely want to make this a very, very strong group, man.
For sure. Sounds good, man. I look forward to it.
Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned something today. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any other questions, and you're watching on YouTube, you can talk in the Discord, or you can comment. Other than that, if any of you guys have questions, you can type them in the Discord. But was one of you guys trying to talk? Sorry.
Yeah, I just have one quick question. It's so, like you said, you know how you said your friend he had like well-off parents. And
Yeah,
like,
my
he's doing
friend had
well, like,
well-off
his-
parents. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in the same situation, but like, I mean, all this like just talk how like, I don't know, like a lone baby, or like what, like those types of like comments, like, you know, I always want to work for my money. I just the whole feeling of like getting money from my parents is just like, I don't know, it doesn't stick well with me. Like, I want to work for it myself. But is there like any benefits with, like, I mean, option trading, like you said, like, is there like with the start money, like, I mean, I'll have it, but I'm saying, I know like you lose some, you win some, but like the goal is to win like more money. Is that like better when you have like the starting amount?
I
Like,
mean,
what do you feel with
so
that?
this
Like
is
your
my
friend?
take, all right? My dad gave me a few $100s. It was probably like around $500 to $1,000 that he gave me, right? Which isn't much. I mean, for some people it's a lot, but for someone who's trying to get started with options, you know, that isn't much, you know. So I would say if you're about at $1,000, invest that into a course. You know, I'm only gonna be able to teach you guys so much and walk you through one-on-one very rarely. It's usually gonna be on a situation like this, you know, where I hop on Discord and it's stream for you guys. I would invest it into a course, or honestly, I would just invest it to something else completely that will teach you how to make more money, right? With stocks, with options trading, you're able to turn a small amount of money into a pretty good amount of money, and a really good amount of money if you really know what you're doing and if you know how to scale correctly, right? But honestly, I would say if you have more than $5,000-$10,000, I would get started in real estate. And the way I would do that is learning how to seller finance deals and negotiate those kind of terms. I would start working with an agent to start buying houses, and then I would learn about different ways to rent those houses out, whether it's Airbnb, whether you're renting to the elderly, whether you're renting Section 8. Find a way to get more bang for your buck, because if, say, you buy a house for, you know, $100,000, the mortgage is going to be somewhere around $800 to $900 or $700. Say you can rent it out on Airbnb and get a 80% occupancy rate at whatever cost, you know, that bullshit. And, you know, you say you make $2,000 a month on it. You're netting $1,000 a month. And after, you say, 5 months, you're going to be able to buy another one and another one and another one and another one. That's how you build a real estate empire. And if you know a lot about real estate, you're going to be able to build that empire. I think that's a lot more profitable than a lot of other, you know, streams of income. And not only is it more profitable, but it's less risk, okay? The thing about options trading is it's so risky. I mean, even the best traders are going to lose some. The best traders are going to make more than they lose, of course, granted. But that's why the best traders trade with funded accounts. And I'm going to talk about funded accounts in the future. But a lot of people that actually know what they're doing don't trade with their own money. They never trade with their own money. And a lot of them don't tell you this. But I know a lot of the best traders, and I'm going to tell you this. They never put their own $1,000 in. They never put their own $10,000 in, right? They apply for an account where they can trade with upwards of $100,000 to $1 million. And from there, they take that $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million to say they get a 20% gain on that, which is not very hard to do. And then they just made $2,000, $20,000, $200,000, right? And that's how they're affording all of this amazing things, because they didn't have to have the startup capital. So if you can learn how to trade and apply for a funded account and get it, that would be a much better way, right? But honestly, man, my main goal is to build my wealth through real estate because I know how to do it. I mean, I've studied real estate in and out for hours on end. You know, I would say the cumulative hours that I've spent studying real estate equals more than a few days. And I've spent a long time, and I know what I'm going to do, right? I'm working 2 part-time jobs. I'm going to start teaching people how to trade stocks. I'm going to start giving to the community so that the community will, you know, hopefully one day be able to give back to me. Even if it's 1% back, I'll be able to, you know, gain a little bit off of it. And that's not my main goal, right? To gain back off of it. If I never gain on this, I will not have any problem with it. But it would be nice to, right? So that's going to help me, you know, a little bit. I'm a real estate agent, so I am making some money off of that, you know, when I sell a house. So all of these things are going to fuel my real estate investments. And once I get to $50,000 a month, right? Because making $1,000 a month on a house, if you correctly negotiated your deals and you bought the right houses, making $50,000 a month, you only need to have, say, I would say anywhere from 40 to 80 houses, which seems like a lot. But remember what I said about thinking on the long-term basis, 5 to 10 years from now. I'm planning on within 3 years being at that point. 3 years, I can definitely make that happen at that point, right? If I wanted to do it right now within the next year, it's going to be very, very hard and very, very risky because it's such a short-term basis. If I spread that goal out within the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, it's more than doable, right? I could work at a part-time job at Jack in Box and be able to do that within 3 to 5 years, right? So it's definitely, it's a good thing that you have money to start with, but I wouldn't use your own money, you know, because you are going to lose it. And what worse feeling to lose it, like for that, what worse feeling than that, you know, knowing that there's other avenues of income that you could use to get your parents' money to even more than, you know, say just learning how to trade stocks, because you're not even guaranteed you're going to make money. You're just using that money to learn, right? So, I mean, I would definitely go a different route than stocks if I had the money right now. But you know, this is mainly for teaching people, and that's why I don't really care about the money when it comes to trading stocks, like I said earlier, because this isn't my main goal, right? My main goal is real estate and getting to that avenue. But that would be my advice. Another guy's going to tell you something completely different, so I would definitely go talk to multiple people that are in a position to, you know, give advice like this, and then go from there.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Is there anything else from anyone else?
So, you mentioned like your main goal is like real estate, right? To obtain as many properties as you can.
Yeah.
So that's sort of also my goal. And what do you recommend for like let's say you start from scratch, like you're working a 9 to 5, like Jack in the Box. Is there other possibilities or like ways you can make more money?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
there's real estate wholesaling. Do you know what that is or no?
Wholesaling, is it like when you flip houses?
No, okay. I'm just going to explain it for very, very basically. You can watch a YouTube video on it later, or I can go on a one-on-one chat with you and explain it deeper. So basically, say I buy a sandwich from Cafe Smitten, which is where I'm at right now. Say I buy a sandwich for $8, and the person sitting next to me says, how much for that sandwich? I want it. And I say, well, I bought it for $8, but I'm going to sell it to him for $10 so I can make a little money. So I sell it to him for $10,
okay.
And then so it's 10 minus 8, I made $2, right? But that's almost how it works, because it has to be worth that much, right? The sandwich is only worth $8, so it wouldn't work correctly. If I could have bought the sandwich for $6 or $5 because I had a coupon, sell it to this guy for $8, which is what it's worth, then I could have made $2 to $3, right? Same thing with real estate wholesaling. You drive around your town, or you can even do it over the internet. You don't have to live in the town you're doing it in. I live in California. I could do it in New York. I could do it in Florida. I could do it in any state I want to. You look for a house where someone's willing to sell it for way less than what it's worth. Say it's worth $100,000. They say, I'll sell it to you for $60,000. Say, okay, I'll take the $60,000, put them under contract. Say, okay, I'm going to buy your house for $60,000. And then an assignment is an addendum. So an addendum is something that you add to a contract in real estate. An assignment is something that you assign it to something else, right? An assignment, the teacher gives it to you, it's your thing, it's your turn to do it, and then you're gonna give it back to her, she's gonna grade it. So you assign the contract to someone who wants to buy it, right? Who actually wants to buy it, because you're just trying to assign it to someone else for more money. Say you hit up an investor, he says, that property, I would buy it for $65,000 because I know I can make it worth $100,000 or it'll be worth $120,000. So then you'll say, okay, I'll sell to you for $65,000. He signs the contract. You go to escrow. They close it for you. And then escrow is like the company that does the deal, okay? And then from there, you'll make $5,000. Why? Because you got it under contract for 60. Someone bought it for 65. So that in between money, you know, that little bit of slippage right there, you collect that. And so that's a really good way to build capital very fast. Nowadays, like right now, it's very hard to do because the market was so good for the last 3 years that people think they can sell their house for more than, you know, what it's actually worth, when right now they actually can't sell it even for what it's worth, right? There are a few houses that can, but it's very rare right now. That's one way to do it. Honestly, that is a great way to do it. I'm not doing it that way just because it's super competitive and I'm not willing to put in the work that it takes to get to the point where I want to be in that avenue of making money, right? I'd rather do it in another avenue of making money. So what do? I have 2 part-time jobs. I'm an agent, which is a little bit less competitive for me. I'm going to trade a little bit of stocks. Probably won't make much money off of it, but I'm going to trade a little bit of stocks. And then I'm also reselling, drop shipping. So I'm doing as much as I can to build money, but I'm also saving like 70 to 80% of my income. I'm not spending any money, right? So where I like to have a balance and go hang out with friends. When I go hang out with friends, we're not going out and getting food. We're not going out and doing this, doing that. You know, I canceled my gym membership. I work out at home now. You know, I can only do body weight workouts, but it's worth it. Why? Because I know within the next 6, 7, 8 to a month to a year, I'm gonna be at my goal where I can start getting, you know, investing, right? So, I mean, with real estate, you just need the capital. That's the only downside to real estate, is that you have to have capital and there's no other way to get into it. So you have to make money somehow, or have money.
I see. So for like real estate, would you, let's say you want to, you have the capital, would you rent it out or Airbnb, or like, what are the options?
So yeah, there's a few different things you can do. You can buy a house that's run down, fix it up, get an appraisal that's worth more than, you know, you got it for, and then you make an in-between money, kind of like wholesaling, but you do the entire deal yourself. You buy it for 60, you fix it up to 120, and you sell it, you make $60,000, right? There's also the point where, you know, you could rent it out, right? Say a house is worth $100,000, it could probably rent out for, say, $600 to $1,000 a month, and then you just have to pay off your mortgage, right? And then the rent will pay off the mortgage, hopefully. Another thing you do is called Airbnb, right? You post it on Airbnb if it's in a desirable location or near a hospital for travel nurses or traveling nurses, and then, you know, you can hopefully, it's not as safe, it's a little riskier, but the reward will be bigger if it works out, right? So you can rent out your house on Airbnb. You can do Section 8, where the government pays you rent and you rent it out to someone who is less fortunate when it comes to finances. You can do, you can rent out to elderly. You have to get, you know, a few permits for that, and you have to put in, you know, a few, like, you have to put in walk bars in the shower, on the toilet, near the bed. You know, there's a few different requirements for that. The government will pay you a little bit extra for that. I mean, there's a few other options, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely better options than some, but they have more risk involved, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So it just comes down to my like preference and understanding. And, like,
yeah, it comes down to what you're willing to risk, man.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
That makes sense. That's cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. And does anyone else have any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
How old are you, and did you go to college
or
university?
I'm 19, and I went to my community college for half a semester and dropped out. I was falling asleep in my classes. I knew it. I don't want to sound cocky, but I knew everything in my econ class and my business class. So I was like, what's the point of this? Why am I going to pay money to go here? I just stopped going to class and just started learning everything on YouTube, and started deciding, you know, how am I going to, you know, start working, because my parents were very hard on me about that. You know, they didn't go to college. My older brother was the first generation of college my family has ever seen. So for me to not go to college, you know, it was kind of disappointing. They didn't say that, but I know it was. And so for me to not go to college, I have to figure out now, how am I going to be successful without a degree, which is not extremely hard to do these days, but it is, you know, a little hard. But yeah, so yeah, I'm 19, and I know I did not really go to college.
Possible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah, I heard you say that you were like trying to, well, not trying, but like you are able to cut your spending habits down. Like, what would you recommend? Is so like I have a really really bad thing of like spending money, but I'm trying to do as best I can to like save up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have set a goal where I can save $1,000 a month, and within 2 years potentially have over $20,000 to like really invest. You know what I'm saying? Like what is like good habit? You know, like good habits. You know, to like restrain yourself or whatever. You know, to like save. You know.
Yeah, man. All right. So yeah, I have a terrible spending problem too. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I take my card out to the grocery store or to the restaurant or to a smoothie place, I'm going to buy something, and it's not going to be a very smart decision, right? So one thing I noticed that helps me is if I have cash, I will not hand it to anyone. If I have cash, I will not hand it over the table to the cashier. So what I do is when I go to the bank, I leave only what is necessary to pay my bills. Okay, how much do I have to pay off my credit card this month, to keep, whatever utilization percent I need, and then, how much do I need for my rent, how much do I need for gas, how much do I need for, groceries. I calculate all of that, and I leave only that in my bank account so that I know if I spend any money, I'm not going to be able to survive this month, and I'm not going to be able to pay one of my bills. And I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my gas, I have to pay my credit card, so I'm not going to eat then. Do you not want to eat, JP? No, I want to eat. So what am I going to do? I'm going to leave that money in my bank account, and I'm going to see the cash. And in my bedroom, I have a piggy bank that is kind of hard to access, right? It's kind of hard to open. So what I do is I put all the cash in there, and I don't even count the money that's in there. Everything that's left over, I put in there, and I don't touch it, I don't look at it, and I'm not going to lie, I honestly forget it's there sometimes. And I'm glad that happens, right? Yeah.
So you're saving actual cash money as opposed to just leaving it in some account.
Yeah, of course. Because, you look at your bank account and you have a little bit more than average and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm rich, right? And that just comes to what your norm is. For someone who always has $100,000 in their bank account, if they get down to $80,000, they're going to feel broke and they're going to say, I need to make $20,000 to get back to $100,000. Where if someone's norm is $10,000 and they get down to, or say their norm is $500 in their bank account, right? And they only have $100, they say, oh my gosh, what do I need to do to get my account to $500? And they're gonna do it. But the bad thing is, whenever their account gets to $1,000, they're used to $500 in there. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna go on a spending spree, and they're gonna drop that down to $500. So that's what you need to make you need to make your norm a lot less than it is, and everything that's left over, cash out and put it in a piggy bank or dollar cost average into the stock market, because you're very unlikely to sell your stocks to go buy some food or buy some new clothes.
All right, cool, man. I really appreciate that, and I only have about like $500 a month in things that I like need to pay for, but I have a problem with food and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love to eat.
Yeah, I get that, man. Me too.
You know what I mean? So, but I try to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? So I pay that and everything. So I also heard that you work out at home now. Just to really save as much as you can. Would you also recommend someone who is really trying to save, to just really try and cut down everything that you possibly can to save what you need?
That just comes down to how strong you are mentally. For most people, what I'm doing would drive them into depression, right? For me, I understand that this is temporary and that it's going to lead to having a better life. Not only that, me doing this is going to make, whenever I do have a better life, feel like a whole new world better. Because say I was balancing my life, right? I go out to dinner sometimes and I do go out to the gym, and I still live my balanced life. Whenever it becomes a lot better, it's not going to be as much better as if I live a terrible life right now. It's going to feel way better, way more rewarding, right? And so I'm not saying that I would live a terrible life. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
mentally I know that this isn't gonna last, and I could be, if I was a little more relaxed, with a little more balanced, I could, live a bit, like a little bit better, be a little bit, like it wouldn't be. I'm trying to think of the way to word it right, but I think you get what I'm saying.
I understand what you mean. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like right now, the way that you are is temporary to where you could possibly be. Let's say by the time you're 25, you know what I mean? Like doing incredibly better.
Yeah, definitely.
So okay, cool. Hey man, I've gotten a lot of knowledge, and I am looking forward to where all of us can go in the future.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it too. I can answer one more question before my laptop dies, and then I gotta go. And if there is another question, if not, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm straight. I'm good, man.
Is everyone all good?
Fine.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. If you think of any questions later on, just post it in the Discord, in any of the chats, and I'll answer it. All right.
All right, Jay.
All right. Thank
Sounds
you guys.
good, brother.
Bye.